see how the turn-in is. Turn-in's great. It's very tossable. Definitely has a nice lightweight feeling that you don't get in a lot of SUVs. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we'll be going over the all-new 2021 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport in the Black Edition package. But first and foremost, a huge shout out and thank you to Harrison Mitsubishi for giving me some time with this Outlander Sport. Check out their inventory in the link below. Let's get straight into the video. Under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 2-liter 4-cylinder that goes through a CVT automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 23 around town and then 29 on the highway, with power outputs being 148 horsepower and then 145 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go over the front end. So first off, I love how they did the body lines here that kind of come down to the center portion. And then we've got these full LED lights with the LED accent light. And then notice how they have the chrome strip just down below it that kind of accents all of it very nicely. And then notice that here with the grille, everything's been kind of blacked out. You've got the Mitsubishi logo there in the center, and then you've got red accenting just down below all of that. But other than that, that is everything for the front end. And it just looks really nice and modern nowadays. Now coming around the side here, you've got two 25mm tires wrapped around 18-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And you've got really cool accent pieces here on the wheels themselves. So you've got kind of like the orangish red accents that go all throughout that are just like the same accent pieces you saw on the front end. And you've got the plastic molding that continues all the way along the SUV. And then notice they've done more black accenting here along the side with the 3 dashes right there. And then also on the door handles, they just have these black covers on them, again, to kind of go with the overall theme of the black accenting throughout the Outlander Sport. But other than that, there is the full side view. Now let's pop in the back of the Outlander Sport. So first off, you have a cargo cover that's already been built in. And then we've got the loading floor just down below with all of the floor mats in these bags, which is pretty nice. You get rubber ones, but then also you get the cloth ones, and they say Outlander Sport on them. And then if you pick this up right here, that's where the spare tire lives out its existence. And other than that, that's everything for the back end. So there you go. Now let's go over the rear end. So first off, we've got the crossbars there at the top, and then coming down below, I love the taillights. Just the design on it looks absolutely fantastic. You've got your Outlander Sport badge, and we have the Black Edition badge on the other side. And then notice you've got more of the accenting just down below with the blacked out portion that kind of breaks everything up. And then we also have a blacked out strip right there just below the license plate holder. But other than that, that's everything for the rear. Here's a door panel in the front. So first off, we got the cloth trim right here in this little area, and then we've got the textured trim. We're actually going to close the door, which I think is pretty cool. And then here are the seats in the back. So full cloth seats. You have the cool design here in the center portion, and then we've got more cloth here just on the sides. But let's pop in. And then in terms of legroom, you guys can see legroom's really solid. And then yes, this pulls down to be an armrest and some cup holders. What more could you expect? There's everything for the back. Here's the door panel in the front. So we've got this nice metallic trim here at the top. We've got the cloth trim just down below, and then the same grippy part where you're going to grab to close the door. We've got all of our window controls. You've got your door lock and unlock with the mirror adjustment. And then here are the seats at the front. So full cloth seats. Notice you've got the stitching that goes down the center, or on the side rather. Sorry, and then in the center here, you've got the cool pattern that continues along. The seats are manually adjustable. And then here's a quick look at the bottom portion right here with the pedals. And then also we've got the collision assistance, then the lane departure assistance. The steering wheel is manually adjustable, and there's one more look before we pop in. Now here's the steering wheel in the Outlander Sport. So we've got leather all around the steering wheel, and then you've got the contrasted red stitching. And then I like how they did the piano black trim here, and then how you have the leather on the outside. Definitely a cool design touch. We have our cruise control on this side. We've got our voice command phone controls on the other side. And then notice you've got the stalk there for the lights and the turn signal, and then the windshield wiper stalk on the other side, and that's all for the steering wheel. We have the center gauge cluster here. We've got the RPMs on the left side, and we got the speed on the right side. And then we do have that screen there in the center, which gives us different bits of information on the Outlander Sport itself. You can see there's quite a bit of info you can go through. Most of it's based on the fuel economy, but that's all for the center stack. Now here's the center infotainment system. If you're wondering, the blue is the plastic covering to protect the screen for the first owner. But we've got a backup camera with the trajectory lines. Resolution on the camera is actually really good. And then aside from the camera, with the rest of the infotainment system, it's really easy to use. So you just have these shortcut buttons here at the bottom. It is a touchscreen. So for example, if I want to see vehicle information, for example, I can go to that. If you want to go to the music, all that kind of stuff. And obviously I have the audio off for copyright reasons. But yeah, really easy to use infotainment system. And I think it actually actually looks really nice. We have our hazard light button right here. We've got all of our climate controls just down below that, and I love how they're gigantic dials. We've got a couple of USBs, we've got our heated seats, and then the stability control, and then we have our 4-wheel drive button, which is pretty neat. So it'll pop up right here. Notice you've got 4-wheel drive, you've got the lock, and then you've got 2-wheel drive. Really easy to use, just press the button. And we've got the shifter for that CVT automatic, and it does have a low range. We've got our parking brake right here with a couple of cup holders. Then we have the center console, which opening it up, you can see storage space in there is pretty good. And then picking this up, you can see that you can just get rid of that if you don't like it for some reason. They do have thread throughs for cables. And then coming over to the dash, notice that they kind of match the material here and then along the door. And then opening up the glove box, we've got our owner's manual, all that kind of stuff. And well, that's all for that area. Now up top here, we have a darker headliner. It's a full cloth headliner. We've got our light controls right here, and then we've got the sun visor as well, traditional mirror, and that's all for the top. Now that we're done going over the interior, let's quickly talk about pricing here in the Outlander Sport. So in terms of pricing, it stickers for about $29,000 before any type of market adjustment. That all being said, let's take the Outlander Sport out and see how it drives. Well, bam. Let's talk about visibility here in the Outlander Sport before we set off. So first off, it's really easy to see out of the hood. Large windshield, not a crazy long hood, just easy. There's your visibility through both of the mirrors. And then here's throughout the rest of the rear. And that all being said, let's set off. So we are setting off here in the Outlander Sport. And first off, let's talk about the road noise and the ride quality. So first off, from a ride quality perspective, we'll go over a couple of these manhole covers to see how it kind of takes it. Really good from a ride quality perspective. Hopefully you guys like my transition sound right there. But yeah, it's a very smooth SUV, and so yeah, ride quality great. And then from a road noise perspective, it's actually pretty minimal. You don't really hear all that much tire noise. The engine's relatively quiet. You do hear it a little bit. CVTs definitely have an interesting way of how they transition and everything, and so you do kind of hear those noises as well, but I mean, that's all to be expected. Most SUVs in this segment use a CVT, and so they all kind of have that similar sound you get from the CVT and then also from the 4-cylinder engine as well. And then we'll see kind of how it goes from a standstill here. Yeah, really smooth actually with the transitions in the CVT. Definitely nice, and I feel like it's got plenty of power. We'll get a better acceleration up here shortly, but I feel like, again, for the segment, it's got more than enough power compared to its competitors, and we'll get a better acceleration here. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. And again, we're at about 4,500 feet elevation, so you got to remember, being a naturally aspirated engine, we're going to lose a little bit of power, and this does a really good job. We'll see how the turn-in is. Turn-in's great. It's very tossable. Definitely has a nice lightweight feeling that you don't get in a lot of SUVs, and so this definitely kind of lends to that. So it's really easy to drive, really easy to maneuver, just super solid on all of that. And one thing I want to mention is we are in 2-wheel drive, and it doesn't drive weird or anything like that. A lot of SUVs in this segment, especially from a standstill, you get crazy torque steer and all that kind of stuff when you're in the 2-wheel drive mode, and this one does not do that. It just drives really smooth, and you don't get any sort of tugging on the steering wheel or anything like that, which is something I appreciate. We'll see how the brakes are. Yeah, brakes are really solid, and well, that'll get me into setting things up here with the Outlander Sport. So first off, from an exterior aesthetics perspective, I actually really like the styling. I feel like it has this unique modern take on it from a styling perspective. And then coming to the interior, now this isn't the fully loaded version. This is kind of like your middle of the line-ish type version, kind of even closer to like the entry-level version, and it's actually a nice interior. The seats are very comfortable. They've got nice bolsters. They hold you in place, but they don't squeeze you to death or anything like that. They're the perfect size. The steering wheel feels great. Again, considering the price point and all that, material use is actually pretty good. The infotainment system is easy to use. So smooth when you go over that stuff. Yeah, really, really good from a suspension standpoint. But aside from that, I just think it's a really nice package overall. I feel like it's very well rounded. And I like the fact that you can go from the two-wheel drive to the four-wheel drive. A lot of modern SUVs don't give you that option anymore. This does, which if you want to get better fuel economy, two-wheel drive. But then if you need a little bit more grip, then you go into four-wheel drive. And so I just like the fact that you have the option. So overall, I think it's a great package. And if you're looking at a new SUV that's kind of in the kind of like the compact SUV size range, then I would definitely check out this new Outlander Sport. Now let's get sum things up for our video on this 2021 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to Harrison Mitsubishi for giving me some time with this Outlander. Check out their inventory in the link below. I'll see all of you in the next video.